myself. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the May 14th, 2026 koha-US Baby Dev Special Interest Group. Um, I didn't really have anything for the agenda today. Brent and I were just talking a little bit about after the last meeting when we were working on the diff bug that he had tried to keep working on one of those in between, and it was still not working as expected. So that's one thing. I don't really have an agenda because we've been a little slammed with upgrades in the end of the cycle, trying to help Lucas make sure everything's passing um, as he finishes up his RM cycle. And so I forgot to both send out an email and put anything in the agenda. I think John saw me make the agenda for today in the thing. He was already in the document, and Brendan maybe too. Uh, so I don't have a lot in particular. Does anyone have anything they wanted to talk about, or do you want to just kind of go through the points in the agenda and maybe we can try diff work again?
I added, but I added, I think, to the last week's thing, we talked about the merch, and I
Oh,
added
yes.
some, just if you scroll down a little bit, I added some merch concept.
Yes, which I forgot to take to, I was gonna take that to koha-US board meeting, and then that was yesterday, and I was deep in the middle of Aspen series debugging. Um, and didn't have it on my calendar, so I later went, oh, that was today. Um, I'll just email the board about it and say, hey, we had this idea. Brendan did this art. I don't know what you guys think of
I,
it. I thought it was
I
pretty
used
cool.
AI.
Are we worried
Full
about
disclosure.
copyright at all? That's clearly Reptar.
The AI allowed it.
Yeah, the AI doesn't know how to respect copyright. And that's a good question. I'm not sure. We could possibly try and like make a, legally distinct Raptor. Um, Also I'm like, I made the it's not in the same style, but I made the Koha bug that's like the Bugzilla with the Koha logo for the body.
Oh, man.
That I have on some of my stickers. And it might be fun to like do that for the bug,
Yeah,
even if
I,
it's like
I
a more
I
3D
tried to
style.
make the bug look like the Bugzilla bug, but it was kind of hard.
It does look like the Bugzilla bug. But just since I made the Koha Bugzilla mashup, it would be fun to use that. And I wouldn't mind like redoing it in a style that matched Rugrats more. Um, so if this is something that people would be interested in as far as Baby Doves merch goes.
And
Uh,
I thought like the Koha US like the baby devs could be like on the chest, like on the side, and then like on the back could have the cartoon, and maybe it could have a tagline or something. Um, and then maybe like the Koha US Nickelodeon logo on the sleeve, maybe, or it could go on the back, either one. But I made them separate images.
yeah. Yeah, probably back is easier just because I know that Threadless does front and back shirts, but I don't know if they do arm logo as an option for a front and back shirt. So, um, yes, and actually I'm gonna put in the quotes that you sent, the little taglines, if I can
Oh
find.
yeah, I had thought of some of them Rugrat quotes because they say some
Hmm.
funny things. Like hold on to your diapers, babies is one of them. I mean,
I do like the I got sponsorabilities now.
I got sponsorabilities, yeah,
That feels
something
very
like that.
So I'm scared was another good one. So,
Baby's got
um,
to do what a baby's got to do.
yep.
And life's hard. Sometimes I think it's the hardest thing there is. If you want to be a little more deep.
Yep. Um, I'll email the board about it since I also didn't go to the board meeting last month when because you had sent me stuff, I think, before the last board. Maybe not. Maybe it was right after. So, then I'll try and whip up a legally distinct Raptor and the Bugzilla with the Koha logo before then, even if it's like still rough, just so we're like, yeah, we can do it legally distinctly so we don't, have copyright problems.
I would guess
Yeah.
that like Threadless might catch some of that too.
Yeah,
Like
they probably have automated stuff that would catch some of it. Although I
Yeah.
see stuff on Threadless that's definitely,
intellectual property that's been
and
borrowed.
yeah, so I don't know how much they check, but we do not want to be doing that. So
Yeah, we want to avoid that if possible. But I do like the concept. I think that's awesome,
yeah,
Brendan.
Thank you. I think I made one other one, but it
yeah, I
still
think.
looks like Reptar. But maybe I have it here somewhere. I made it. I
Oh
tried to
yeah,
make it
here
like a
I've got it.
cyberpunk dinosaur, just like slightly less reptile-y. Yeah, like that one.
Yeah, that one's I think would
That,
pass
that would
easy.
pass. That
Yeah,
passed.
that would
Yeah.
pass. So maybe I'll just make Koha Bugzilla because I really like that art and it's fun and I want to use it more on more things. So um
I did
But then
have oh god.
then you have the Koha logo getting flamed though. That's the only thing with that one.
yeah, but we're squashing the Koha bugs.
Okay, yeah.
I had a couple of bugs that I don't want to particularly volunteer to work on, but maybe we could look at next time. I'll put them on the agenda.
Yeah. I mean, what are they? We could
Please, please.
One of them is it's just stuff that my people have been asking for. So one of them is notes in the point of sale system, which doesn't seem that complicated. It would just be adding a database field and an input field, I would think. Um, and
I'm not even
then
it might just be adding the input field and tests because doesn't that all just get saved into the account lines?
no, it's separate from account lines
Okay.
because it's like anonymous transactions. And then the other
Oh,
one was adding the last checkout date to the check previous checkout alert box. That's something that a
mm,
lot of my libraries want. So I've got bug numbers. I'll put them in the bugs to work on section.
cool. Thank you. Um, I don't really have updates on the documentation plan right now. We're working on some documentation internally right now for some dev stuff. That like once it's better, we can share it. It's just like super rough right now. Just trying to consolidate a lot of the notes that we've all got, in our own computers and brains, uh, to help each other out. But I'm hoping we can incorporate that into some of the other documentation stuff we've talked about once we have that. Um, Anyone have any problems with their KHDs right now? Oh, I guess this should have gone under the discussion topics, the merch stuff. Organization. Um, Brendan, did you want to look at the bug that you tried to do the diff on? You're muted.
I don't know if I'll be able to remember which one it was, but I can look for it. Because the concept is you just have to add one other argument to that call to the log function with the state of before, like whatever thing is getting
Yes.
logged. So then it will have the new state and the old state, and it should just do display the diff, but it didn't. I was trying to use the data dumper to try to see like if I'm really passing the right thing. And I thought it made sense, but I couldn't get it to work.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, nice. Martin filed some of these bugs in March and has like, these are the specific calls. And in some cases, line numbers. For example, this reports one. If I can find my chat. Which I will also put in here.
Okay, I think the one that I was looking at was the branch transfer one.
Oh, yeah. That would maybe make it easier for me to solve a problem I'm dealing with right now, actually. Uh, okay.
Just this one.
Oh, you got it. Cool. So, just because we haven't successfully done one yet, here, I can uh, open up the right thing. Okay, I'm just booting up my dev box right now. I had to install some stuff, but
I was thinking
maybe
maybe like because it seems like it's such a simple thing to do, but I think maybe the problem that I was having was like the data, like I was sending like an object or something instead of like the raw textual
instead of like the
data.
unblessed data.
Yeah, I think that might be
Mm-hmm.
where I got messed up.
Okay. Do, do, do. So, mine's almost up, but that's oh, what it is. Let me swap my Zoom windows. Share screen. So, right now, I can want to transfer. Yeah. Log viewer. So transfers create. Also transfers update. That's interesting. Why is it making two? Oh, because it's creating it and then marking it as sent. That's interesting. Also interesting that the creation does make some JSON. It's not empty. That's odd. So if okay. Let's see. Date sent, but it was the other one that had. Oh, just empty diff. That's interesting though that it has an empty diff there. I wonder why that happens. That's odd. Uh, gotta open up my koha. Hmm. Move it to the other screen. Okay. So we want to do, I think that'll work. And create. That's transport cost matrix. Oops. Okay, so it's not on like a transfers document. Not in items, maybe just in circulation. Nope, that's branch transfer limits. What's the actual transfers? Ah, branch transfers, I bet. No, that's interesting. Hmm. Okay, so there's not like a action log in transfers at all. That's tests. We don't need the tests. Oh. Hmm. That is weird though that it's not coming up with
I think it was in one of the subroutines, maybe.
Yeah, but this should, because this isn't searching the file names for action logs. It should, in theory. Well, that's just weird. Okay. Um, Log action. That's why. It's because it's not action logs, it's log action is the thing. So on update or create, log action transfers, action, self item number, does put it in JSON. So that's good. So I'm just gonna look at the report one that Martin had posted because he's got, okay, only post change state is captured there.
Is there a difference between update and modify?
Uh, it depends on the um depends on the module. So like for holds it's modify, but for transfers it's update.
Hmm.
Also, it's interesting that this is create lowercase and that is, but it's create
Okay.
uppercase in the thing. So I don't know if that is because of something in this code in like this that fixes create into show like that instead. But that's interesting difference. Also, it is interesting that the creation of the transfer does create a diff, even if that diff is empty, since they are in like the same.
Because if it's created, you can't really have a diff, right? Because there's no previous state.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. You can do something like on this borrower, the before is just all empty.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And there's a little bit of work in there to make it so that only fields that are now filled out show instead of all the fields were empty before and these fields are no longer empty, but it was still showing everything. But so I think let's store self discard changes. That's interesting.
Yeah, the discard changes thing is that's actually storing like that function is all about storing the whatever you send to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Self
So if let's look at
discard
that's in transfer PM. Let's look at uh one of the ones that I know has diffs like item. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. New item mark. Oh, see, and those ones are the more complicated ones too. So, suggestion though. Nope, that's a delete. Only. does that have? Finds create. Patron ID. I don't think that that has the diff. Self-reserve ID. Okay, this one has the original. So this one defines the original at the top of the sub, which was here. No. Transfers. Transfer. Okay. That's also interesting because this, oh, okay, it just has the if down there instead. So I'm just going to put this up here for the moment. So we want to make sure. I think probably doing it this way is better, where you check before so that, well, I guess you can just do my original if transfers log. And then, but we want probably that to be self to JSON. Let's see. Well, let's just try that and do a warn original. And then does original go before or after? I forget.
I think it goes after.
Yes, it goes at the end. So module action current or item current.
And then I think you need also you need to add undefined because
Yeah.
that's the not the module. What is that one? The interface column, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, this one does have them separate, so we will leave that like that. And then what's in it? Oh, this is a trick I learned this week, which was item transfer. Oh, interesting. So this just debugs it, and the only problems I'm seeing appear to be oh, no, I exited it. Those are just that subroutine are redefined. Um, and that comes up pretty frequently. I don't think that it is because of anything we did. So then I'll restart all since we changed a PM file.
So that other command that you did
It was
was like
Perl dash,
running.
yeah, so Perl space dash D, and then the file, it runs the debugger,
Okay.
which is nice because then if you have really bad syntax somewhere, it will tell you. Okay. So,
And that will work even if like well, in this case it doesn't, but it will work only on the Perl module files, or does that work on the
I think any
.pl?
Perl, I think any Perl.pl, any
Okay.
Perl, any files that are Perl, I believe. Um, okay, so on my other screen, I'm completing the transfer. Oh no, didn't check it in. Search the category. Confirm hold. Oh, the warn was a hash. So that's because, and that's interesting that the warn was a hash since it's unblessed. But if we go look at the action logs again, so transfers update. Okay. Did not store the diff. Not surprised since the warn was like a weird hash instead of. I wonder if I do.
Do you have to create a new transfer to be able to see like the updated
I shouldn't
diff?
need to, but I can try that. Let me just restart again. Oh, where did I click?
Because I was thinking when I was testing it, although I got basically this far, um, if every time you create a transfer, it's like doing that log and putting that into the actions log table. So if you change the code, you have to then create a new thing to log to be able to see the difference.
Possibly. We'll transfer that. Oh, oh, doesn't like my unblessed because it's already unblessed, even though it was showing a hash. Okay. So instead of self-unblessed, we probably want to do basically my original. Oh,
I try, yeah, that's the thing I tried also, like to do it as the same way that it's put there. This is the next thing I tried.
well, that's how you have to do it. Oh, oh, D350. Okay. That fails for me all the time because I don't. Oh, well, that's interesting. It does not like something really bad. Okay. Transfer starting at line 47. It doesn't like something. And I'm guessing, yep, that's where we do this. So
Right.
I think that I wonder if it's because
I
we
think you
really
don't
want.
need self before the to JSON. I think, yeah, and then
Oh, I should have done it again, but I bet that if I'd done the debug thing, it would have come up with warnings. Um, oh, okay. Oh, because I was still calling unblessed. But it did return the information in the original. So
that's
that's good. So we just need to take the unblessed out here probably. And then Change back to Centerville because that hold was going from Fairfield to Centerville. Confirm and transfer. Okay, so it did warn this item number, etc. Oh, but I still can't use that as a hash when it tries to actually put it in the log. So what did we do? Oh, let's try the debugger and see. I don't know if it'll actually work since it's not till we do the action, but it might be. Nope. Okay. So it wasn't that. So what if instead of that we do my original, oh right, because the self2 JSON was here. Oh, that's why we didn't. So if we do instead, what if we just did self and then, oh, does that need a, oops. And then we did the original to JSON down here. There, next. Oh, nope. Wasn't like something there.
Do you need to have another thing after the in that ternary statement, like a colon, and then like a so that's if the
Oh,
preference is
yes.
there,
That
then it's
was.
self, otherwise undefined or something.
Where was the one that- oh, the original.
Undefined.
Also, it had the unblessed, which I had taken out. So, oh. Oh, nope, still doesn't like that. But 68. Oh, I wonder if there's an extra end in there. Oh, it's because I stole the undefined. That's what happened. Does that, and that doesn't, that just needs probably nothing because it's the last one. Okay. Okay. Then let's, okay, I can't call it on an unblessed reference. So that is a different error than we've had before, but also weird because again, that is unblessed. So why? I wonder if we just do. That feels like it's going to come back and say, can't call unblessed on an unblessed thing already, but it's telling us it doesn't think it's unblessed, so. Okay. $56 it still has a problem with. That's just on this helpful error. Can't call method unblessed on unblessed reference, which is what I thought it would say. Very helpful since it told us it was not unblessed, so it couldn't be JSON. What if we don't do the unblessed there and just do it there? Then I will once again. Yeah. That's fun. It is warning the hash successfully. So why does it think that that's unblessed? Or even when it is unblessed, why doesn't that? It's something silly like actually it doesn't need to be JSON because it gets saved. What if we just do original there? Hmm. Well, it didn't fail. Did it actually log a diff? Oh, tools, not administration. Did it actually log a diff though? Hmm. Ooh, yes. Maybe. Yeah. Though that looks like it created it, but that shouldn't have been a create at that time. Let me go look at the status of the item now. Because maybe it was a create going the other way. But hey, success. It's because it saves when you call the original, it's already a JSON object. It needs to be made to go to JSON when it's logged because it's not already logged as JSON. Okay, so from Centerville to Franklin. So then we'll go to Franklin. That's why I went to the wrong thing. So it made a new transfer. And if we check it in now, it's completed its transfer. Yeah. Oh wait, nope. The update didn't work. Only the modify. Only the create worked. This was the whole
Um,
modify. So that's interesting.
so create works to log a diff now, but not modify, not update.
Which might mean it's not actually getting the original
It's
because
just
the original
getting
doesn't exist.
nothing. It's,
And so then it can't save it because there's a problem. Let's see if it logged anything. Okay. A value of 1 has been passed to a param without a key. Well, that might be it. Yeah, because it's there again too. And that's really the only. So if we mm, action self, because it's on update or create. From library to library transit. That puts it in transit. Okay. I wonder if we have to put it in each of the subs that's saying what it's doing. Like it's self-set, cancel date and reason, and store. But in theory, the store. Oh, if the original, no, that should be. I'm wondering if it's because of that, like the transit action is here and then just tells it to store instead of doing the action within the sub. If maybe that's it.
also,
But
it's only like setting I think maybe it's because it's not like setting all the parameters when it does the store. So it's just updating a couple of them. Maybe.
no, I think it's doing all of them when it stores. Well, oh no,
Like
here,
right
because
there, it's just updating a couple of them. So then in the when you're getting the original, you're not getting all the fields, maybe.
yes. So maybe what we need to do
Is use
is,
find the transfer by the ID or something.
yeah, or I'm wondering if we should send, hey Andrew, we're talking diffs again. We've made progress.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a diff for when transfers become made.
I don't know why that phrasing really tickled me, but I liked it.
Yeah, I can talk real well, real good. Um, but we were just talking about that, like the transit sub, for example, doesn't necessarily pass every parameter or like the receive sub. It just says when's the date arrived and when's the last seen, not all the stuff. So it doesn't pass everything to the log, so then the original doesn't have everything. Which is also weird because it should, because the original is the whole self. Well, but if it's passing the self to here, yeah, okay. That also explains why it was showing some of the stuff, but not the whole thing when it was warning when we had it unblessed. Um, so what if we did What if we set the original there? Let's see. Uh, and then also returned original. And then up here, instead of that, you do myself original. That might work, because then that'll pass the whole original. In theory. Also, this is like the third or fourth different diff bug that we've tried working on at various baby devs, and this is definitely the farthest that we've gotten. Okay. Let me just go look and see if there's any more holds left on that record for me to put things in transit with. Oh yes, because those haven't actually been filled. So actually, let's just they actually want to pick it up at still at Fairfield, but I'm gonna check it in here now. That was no. Well, that's good. It didn't like fail, but it didn't like that my original. Okay, so that must not have passed it properly to the. Oh wait, except that I did it for when it comes in. That's why. So airfield, I think. Oh. Nope. Nope, Franklin. Wait. No, now Fairfield. This one might just be messy because of my reverting. Confirm hold. Ooh, it worked.
That's the
No, that's
whole
the
slide.
hold. Dang it.
Oh,
Okay, so what did it tell us in here, if anything helpful? Nope, it still doesn't like that a value of 1 has been passed to param without key. So there's still something in there it doesn't like. You know what I'm gonna do is instead of starting this over next time, or with a different diff bug like we did this time, is I'm gonna stash this branch somewhere so I don't accidentally delete it, and then maybe talk to Nick and Martin about it next time I talk to one of them. About the best way to figure out where that one is coming from with the parameter. And then we can continue next time. And our
I thought
next
this one would be slightly easy because the transfer file is not very long.
yeah, I think it's
But
just because of the way that this one in particular does the actions into a store function and doesn't pass the entire object, maybe only the
yeah.
updated stuff. So, yeah. I think that's probably what our problem is. And our next meeting is the 11th of June. How is it already? Mid-May. Don't know. Um, and as always, we've got the mailing list if people have trouble with their dev boxes or want help working on something or whatever. And thanks for coming, everybody.